Hello, welcome to Podcast Pillow Talk. Today we're going to talk about our top takeaway from episode 1 with Rob Kandell. And Natalie and I were talking about it earlier on a walk, and for both of us it was this piece that Rob spoke to really eloquently around why it's so important to own our desires and our sexual desires specifically.
So my takeaway, really what stood out for me was, especially when he talked about it in conjunction with monogamous relationships, his belief around people are not naturally monogamous, but we choose to be in monogamous relationships, and that a lot of times what happens, and the reason cheating happens, is because people don't own their desires and communicate that to each other. Not necessarily that you have to do it or act on it, but just the naming of it, having that safe space with your partner to be able to talk about it, that could alleviate so much pressure and stress and shame and guilt. To have that container, you don't have to act on it, but just speaking to it is so powerful.
And that happened for me recently. I went to Natalie and I were in the process of redesigning our relationship, which is an open relationship. And I went to a men's group circle, and I was talking about some of the desires that were coming up for me that I was having a really hard time owning. And I'm even I was nervous to say it then, I was nervous to say it to Natalie, and I'm nervous to say it now, but it was basically just around wanting to have sex with other women, and hot chicks is how Natalie and I put it.
It's like, Bob, just say it. You want to fuck hot chicks.
I feel like such a douchebag when I say it is the thing, and there's so much socialization there around even wanting that, let alone wanting it in the context of a relationship. So I got really clear at that men's circle that was a desire that I have. And after I spoke it out loud, and it was actually Rob was one of the men leading at this circle, he said, and that doesn't mean that you actually have to do anything about it. And something clicked for me, because I had never really made that connection. I was like, oh, okay, I can just want this. This can be just something that sounds nice to me, and it doesn't mean that I have to go act on it. Our cat is...
The cat went crazy. He's like, I have a desire right now to go in the box, and...
He loves his cat box. He bolted over there because he just needed to be in the cat box. Okay.
Back to the pillow talk.
Welcome to the family house.
So something clicked.
Something clicked for me, and I realized that I needed to have a conversation with Natalie, and I brought it home, and we had the conversation that night, pretty much instantly. And it was scary to talk about with her, but I did. Mm-hmm. And how was that for you?
So, and here's the thing too around having the conversation, that it might bring up stuff. And for me that night, it did bring up stuff. We talked about it again in the context of designing the relationship, and I was able to hear it differently then. And that's when I made the comment about, oh, so you just want to fuck hot chicks. And there wasn't charge for me the second time around, because honestly, I've fucked hot dudes. I have. And I get it. I totally get the desire. And so it was really freeing to hear about it when Rob was talking about it, that, so much of that shame can be taken away if we're conscious about having a space where we can really talk about these things, and that there's approval of the person.
Well, and approval doesn't necessarily mean that that everything has to be hunky-dory the whole time. It's
sure.
Like approval of what people want, and approval of everybody's feelings, and just a recognition that having feelings is actually okay, and it's not the end of the world, and that you can just experience them, and they change like everything does.
Yeah, because I'm realizing that my desire, or a desire that I'm having to own, is that right now I actually don't want Bob to sleep with other people. And that's changed for me, and it was scary to even bring that up. And I'm not saying that that has to be forever, but right now that's the desire. And I don't know what's going to happen. We're designing this as we go, and that's the beautiful thing that I love about our relationship is that there is that space.
Our cat is spazzing out. Oh my gosh.
What is he on? Oh my god. This is what happens at the Bartanian Schwenkler household.
All right, so own your desire. He is owning his desire to be a cat and freak out around the house.
And we still love him.
And we still love him for it. We acknowledge his desire. And yeah, so head over to sexthepodcast.com, subscribe for the newsletter if you want to stay in touch with new episodes that are coming out and with other exciting adventures that we are cooking up. And
if you've watched this video and have not listened to the podcast episode yet, make sure to go to sexthepodcast.com, click podcasts. It's Honesty and Desire with Rob Kandell. Super amazing episode. Make sure to listen, and we will see you next time around. Thanks. Bye, guys.